How do you think Buddy Black's going to do in Colorado? He's already had a couple injuries, hasn't he, up there?
Well, Ian Desmond, losing him, that hurts right away. But it's kind of funny. I have to say, last year I was at an Angel game, and when Bud Black was the manager of the Padres, he Dale Thayer, who again was one of my players at Edison High School, and again another one that went to Santa Ana College, and signed as a free agent out of Chico State. And Dale had so much success with Bud Black and had just great things. Loved
San Diego.
Yeah, loved pitching for him, and he thrived. And then Bud Black, moved on, and they fired him, and then the Angels picked him up, and Dale Thayer got released, and it's kind of sad because at the Angel game last year, Bud Black was in the Diamond Club section and just sitting back there, and he'd talk to people.
Yeah.
I walked up to him and sat down and said, "Hey, how come you haven't signed we signed Dale Thayer and brought him back to Anaheim, because the Angels could always use pitching and stuff like that." And he's like, he had good things to say. It never happened, but I think Bud Black's one of those guys. You look at anybody that was with Social when the Angels won it. Joe Madden, Bud Black, Renicky,
Yeah.
they're all solid guys. I mean, that's why I again don't want to take away from Socha, but there's a reason why I think they did what they did, and you look at who he had. I think he's going to do great.
I think Black made a mistake a year ago when he could have had that Washington job.
Yeah,
he was offered $1 million to go to Washington with that team, with those prospects, and they were a solid team. And he wanted more than he wouldn't sign because it was only a 1-year contract.
I kind of guess though. I'm kind of thinking that Socha could have opted out last year. I mean, there was a chance, and I think I thought for sure that Socha would opt out before the Dodgers had Roberts, and I thought he'd go back and do that. Because it was just a case for, I think Socha it was getting stagnant in Anaheim, and he's a Dodger, and that's that would have been a great fit.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Black, because the Angels signed him on, and he was kind of in that assistant GM type thing. I thought for sure he was they had him postured to come into that, and it didn't happen. And then now he's like, hey, they got to move on, and who knows? I think if the timing's right, I think Black would be a great guy somehow if he could end up back in Anaheim. I'm a big Bud Black fan.
Yeah.
I just think he's good. He's good for baseball, and I think they'll do well there. It's just that's a tough park.
It always felt like he had the Padres on the right track, and I never understood why they let him go.
Yeah, I don't.
I guess I understand they weren't getting the kind of results, but they weren't going to get those kinds of results that they were expecting.
No,
at San Diego,
they wouldn't open their pocketbooks, and you sit there and you look, and they were always hovering around 500, and they were, like I said, if you went out, but again they kept feeding other teams. They would take they do a fire sale in August to help everybody else out, and heck, I think they did him a favor because again, I liked him there. I thought, but who wants to go to a place that's what it's going to be? It's like going to Milwaukee or something like that. You get tired of coming down to July 31st to the trade deadline and thinking, okay, I'm just Oakland, we're just prepping players for other teams. So
yeah, and that Padres team. Maybe they blew him out because they felt like they couldn't subject him to what they've got going on down there. That team could lose 100 games. Yeah. And I don't say that facetiously. You look at that roster, you look at that staff, and you just go, they could lose 100.
Yeah. Well, they did open up the pocketbooks a couple of years ago, and everything
fell apart.
Blew up on them.
Yeah. Kemp just wasn't quite the guy.
Yeah.
And they had the pitcher from the Royals who never quite pitched to where he was. And then
Kennedy, Ian Kennedy was there, and he was, again, a 500 pitcher. When he had the 1 year with the Diamondbacks where he won 20, and then he went over there, and it didn't translate for the Padres. I understand that, but.
And now I'm just not sure, and then Andy Green. I mean, where did he come from? I mean, that hire, it felt like
Was it a raffle?
Let's get somebody as young as most of the guys on the team because.
Sorry, Andy.
Go have a beer with the players.
Yeah,
That's it. But,
he seems like a nice guy.
yeah.
And he maybe said all the right things in the interview, but they're gonna suffer for a couple more years in San Diego.